This video is sponsored by Delete Me. Saudi Arabia's Neom is an incredible mega project set to propel the country from the dark Middle Ages straight to the high-tech Middle Ages. Neom itself is a collection of different mega projects, each more impressive than the rest. A global hub of innovation and sustainable growth, dreamt up by Mohammed bin Salman, the world's most dedicated tropical player and reigning Fruit Ninja champion. Neom is set to be completed by 2030, just 4 years. This begs the question, where are they now? We will take a look. And in the spirit of being constructive, at the end I will also give some practical advice to Saudi Arabia as to how to actually handle this project. I know you're watching this, Mohammed bin Salman. What else would the Saudi ruler do in his free time other than watching Adam Something videos? Yeah, at this point I cannot visit Saudi Arabia because I'm pretty sure they would just put me to death. So Neom has 4 key parts: Trojena, Sindala, the Oxagon, and the line. So how are they coming along? Where are they now in 2026, 4 years before the deadline? Let's look at Trojena first, a luxury mountain destination by Neom, set to redefine luxury mountain living and hospitality while becoming a world-class center for winter sports and adventure. Wow, thanks ChatGPT. Now give me some ideas for what to do with Khashoggi's pieces. Trojena includes a giant Roomba on a mountain, an alien mirror cave wall, a ski village built on top of skyscrapers. Oh Jesus, what is this? Is Saudi Arabia okay? Was the CG artist having a stroke? Wait, are these skiing slopes built out of rebar concrete? Oh yeah dude, this is how skiing works, definitely. It's a shame Saudi Arabia is forced to build these giant rebar concrete throws for people to ski in. Things would be so much easier if only we had access to these kind of big, naturally occurring piles of rocks, you know what I mean? So that when snow falls on them, we can slide down on their sides or something. Actually, hold on. I don't think we realize the significance of what we're looking at here. Guys, Neom consultants have invented mountains. Saudi Arabia didn't just transition to the 21st century, they went straight for 4.5 billion BC. What will they invent next? Lakes? Oh wait, they actually did. No guys, you don't understand. It's very important to have this giant, jutting rebar concrete tub here, hanging off the cliff, which visitors won't even get to see because it will be under them. Look at these other mountain lakes, they're so boring. I bet nobody even goes there. Without a giant concrete bathtub built into the mountain, who even cares, right? Trojena though. So yeah, this is not happening. Trojena has been downsized and put on the back burner due to cost overruns and doubts about its feasibility. Imagine that. Speaking of downsizing, how about we all downsize the amount of personal data we have scattered on the internet? And you can easily do that with today's sponsor, Delete Me. It's a jungle out there. Some people and even companies like certain private companies colluding with the US government, whose name comes from Lord of the Rings, make a living by scraping your personal data from wherever they can. This data is then used to fine-tune algorithms and to help the state surveil you, for example. But having a bunch of personal data online also leaves you vulnerable to identity theft and harassment. The safest choice is to keep your digital footprint under your control by removing superfluous personal data from the internet. And you can do that with Delete Me. Delete Me helps remove your personal data by scanning hundreds of data broker websites that collect online personal data, yours included. Experts at Delete Me will then request the removal of your data, thus helping you reduce your digital footprint. After a week, you get a privacy report detailing what sort of data was found and removed. Delete Me will rescan those websites later to make sure that your data doesn't surface anywhere else. Do not let your personal data fall into the wrong hands. Get 20% off Delete Me consumer plans by going to joindeleteme.com/adam20 and use the promo code adam20 during checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/adam20, promo code adam20. Thank you for checking out Delete Me. So okay, Neom, ideas that are very big and very stupid. Because the dictator thinks that just because he played City Skylines for 2 hours, he is now the equivalent of a civil engineer and architect at the same time. Honestly, stuff like this reminds me of Ceausescu, the former Romanian dictator that I talked about in my Dubai video. He wanted a metro system for Bucharest, the capital. So engineers were like, okay, so here's a sensible plan for the metro system. But then Ceausescu was like, no. It has to go under the river, parallel to it in fact. But But what about the water? There is a huge risk of water breaking. Would you like to go to the gulag? Under the river it is, sir. And then his wife, Elena Ceausescu, was like, actually the students have gotten too fat, so cancel this central metro station, Piazza Romana, so they will walk more. I am not making this up, by the way. The station itself that was quote-unquote cancelled by Elena is still there today, but it's super narrow because it was built in secret. Because the engineers realized how freaking stupid this was and knew that a station was needed there. So they did it in a way that Elena wouldn't notice. Prime Banana Republic stuff. And of course we all laugh at this, right? You know, some uneducated tin-pot dictator doing all this funny/crazy stuff in their backward, far-away primitive dictatorship. But then we see stuff like Neom and half the people start clapping like seals. Speaking of, the Oxagon, a reimagined industrial city floating on the water. It needs to do so because if there is one thing Saudi Arabia lacks, it's free space, right? Yeah, please ignore that 2 million square kilometer emptiness over there, thank you. We gotta build on the water, guys. It's cramped like the Netherlands over here. Strategically located on the Red Sea coast near global shipping lanes, Oxagon is the ideal base for factories of the future. But you can just build this on the coast. There's the coast, there's land already. Just put it next to the water. You don't need to put half of it on the water. What if there are big waves, a storm? What if the Ever Given 2 crashes into it or something? Yeah, it's like imagine some secret Iranian covert ops mission where they drive a full tanker into it and set it on fire. But inside the Oxagon, there will be all these crazy science fiction factories, fusing principles of Industry 4.0 with the circular economy. Robotic arms, windmills, plants, the T-virus from Resident Evil, giant dice, glowing CPUs, cyborgs, Mountain Dew, rifts through space-time. Now you might say, all of this is nice, but oddly vague. What companies will manufacture there? What will they manufacture? How and why? I don't know. You don't know. But that's okay, because nobody in Neom knows either. What we're looking at is shiny CGI slop produced by consultants neatly fitted within the attention span of relevant decision makers to bamboozle them into approving this. And of course, the Oxagon has a seaside future residential thing with friggin' flying cars, because why not? Also, love how half the women here are still wearing hijabs. It's the future, but women showing their hair in public would still cause males to enter an uncontrolled sexual psychosis apparently. One moment you're busy gene splicing cyber lettuce with your holo watch, but then you see a woman's exposed neck and hair or something, so you just lunge at her like a horny gorilla. Seriously though, the same people pushing this techno-future mania in Saudi Arabia likely think that Star Trek is degenerate for showing women's bare legs. They like the aesthetic of the future, enough to draw in venture capital money, but none of that post-Middle Ages Enlightenment degeneracy please, like women's rights. So anyway, the Oxagon is basically a seaport with some factories and a residential area attached. Why does this need to be a half-floating octagon at sea? Because the shinier the project is, the more likely it is to get approved. That's why. Oh, and this is also not happening, due to it being an obviously stupid and untenable idea. What they are doing instead is building a seaport and some apartments. Oh, and there will be some kind of natural gas facility, but that's okay. Rebranding this project is easy. Just add an E to its name. And now let's look at the most notorious symbol of Neom. The Line, the 170 kilometers long desert skyscraper megacity. Seriously, this thing is ludicrous. It's two 500-meter tall skyscrapers running parallel next to each other for 170 kilometers in the desert, completely straight. Why is it mirrored? Because it looks cooler on renders. Once again, consultants had to sell this to MBS and they had 60 seconds to do so. Now I have already made a video about the Line, link below, where I covered extensively why this is a deeply stupid idea. I have also proposed some alternatives, pictured here, which would actually work much better. Because the Line in its original form is just a perfect storm of bad ideas and general stupidity. It takes all the disadvantages of pre-planned cities and skyscrapers and meshes them into literally the worst, most inefficient and contrived thing to ever exist. For example, since you're pressing everything into 500-meter tall segments and you want to include every single amenity in them, you will also have to build hundreds of escalators and elevators per segment. Let's say 500 elevators and 1000 escalators. This includes everything from main heavy-duty elevators to the escalators between two floors of H&M. Let's assume that one segment is 2 kilometers long. So the line would have 85 segments, well, would have had, which nets us 42,500 elevators and 85,000 escalators. And escalators need to be two-way, so we can safely double that to 170,000. If this thing gets built, it won't get built, but still, find out which company gets the order for escalators and elevators, and then put your life savings into their stocks. So how is this project going? When will the line be completed? Well, the line. Massive progress revealed. 2025 update. Oh boy, I can't wait to see what's happening over there. Oh wait, it's just an AI slop voiceover video with Neom stock footage over it. And the video actually contradicts its own title and thumbnail, saying correctly that it's not happening.
Rather than the traditional urban sprawl, this concept would utilize state-of-the-art technology and design initiatives to stack everything vertically.
God, I love that AI voiceover, reading out a script presumably written by ChatGPT.
The Saudi government would be redirecting its attention toward core economic sectors. PIF wanted a more balanced portfolio, and the line represented a huge chunk of red ink.
Contact us. Yeah, us, sure. What, are there two of you? One of you presses the generate button and the other handles Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. So yeah, the line has been remodeled somewhat. Its brand new iteration, the DOT, will welcome its first residents sometime between 2040 and 2100. So the Saudi leadership, in particular Mohammed bin Salman, looked at this disaster, this increasingly costly war on elementary school physics, which Saudi Arabia is losing badly. So they thought, how could we propel ourselves into the future without building anything meaningful, impressive, or complicated? Oh, yep, that's right. Fucking AI data centers. Perfect, just perfect. Do I even need to make a joke here? No, I don't think so. This is just too perfect. Some oil monarchy dictatorship dreams up some BS mega projects and they didn't work, so yeah, AI it is, guys. So could this still be fixed somehow? Could we still resurrect Neom, if you will? Well, yeah, actually, it's completely possible. The proof of that is Sindala, the part of Neom I haven't yet talked about, which is basically an island with a luxury hotel, a marina, and of course a golf course. Of course. And this works because we know how to build hotels, we know how to build marinas, we know how to build golf courses, and we know how to build it on an island. Thanks, Dubai. And look, next to it, where the Oxagon would have been, you already have some kind of seaport going up. That's nice. So okay, do that. Build the seaport, good idea. We know how to build seaports, you'll make it happen. And the Oxagon could be something like, I don't know, Black Mesa from Half-Life? Desert, mountains, R&D research complex, industrial production. Because, yeah, it sounds funny, but with the Oxagon they basically want Black Mesa. And this could kind of sort of even work. Okay, not things like the Lambda complex with the teleportation labs, but you know what I mean. Hey, companies, we have all these high-end R&D spaces with generous state support and tax benefits right next to a seaport, and also with a high-speed rail connection to the nearest airport. Bring some of your departments and employees here. There is a whole luxury city for them here, with year-round free access to our beach resorts. Oh, and also like a 1% tax rate or something, so you know, it's kinda like the Star Trek Enterprise. Come and work here for some time, bring your family with you, all amenities are included. I think the Oxagon could work like this, technically, right? As for Trojena, I mean, look, let's just build some mountain hotels, some hiking trails, some skiing trails. No need for the CG artist stroke victim, skiing trow, reinventing mountains type deal, okay? Just create some nice looking mountain resorts. And as for the line, that just has to go, I'm sorry. Or hey, just do what I recommended in my original line video, the tub. It's like the line, but it goes in a circle. Oh, and this can actually be built without bankrupting the country. So this is what I would do if I was in charge of Saudi Arabia and I really wanted to build Neom. Of course, if you actually want to modernize your country, you have to start with your existing cities and of course, your society. I would create Jeddamsterdam. And how nice would that be? So this was Saudi Arabia's Neom in the year 2026. Thank you for watching, and if you like my content, please consider becoming a patron or a member here on YouTube. And I'll be seeing you next time.